Friday, everybody. Air Fryer Friday. Diana here. I'm going to do, as I mentioned earlier in the week, something from this month's Taste Buds. I don't have mine yet, but I know what the recipes are because we always have we can go in. They send us an email early. We can go in and see what the recipes are going to be. So if you want to go out and get your ingredients ahead of time, have them ready, you can do that. But of course, I did not do that. I'm gonna go with what I have on hand. Hey Renelle, how are you doing? Glad to see you watching. So I'm using my ingredients call for yellow cornmeal. I did not have any on hand, and I don't usually keep cornmeal on hand because we're either frying fish, in which we buy Louisiana fish fry, or we're making cornbread with Jiffy Mix because we all prefer the sweeter cornbread. So I don't necessarily keep cornmeal on hand, and I didn't want to buy a whole bag for a half a cup. That's what this recipe is calling for, a half a cup. So what I decided to do was pull out grits. We love grits, and stick them in the blender. I made my own cornmeal. So I did it really, really fine. This is so cool, y'all. And, you know, what do they say about the mother of invention, mother of all necessity? So, grits ground up fine to make cornmeal. And then we're using the ranch popcorn seasoning for our seasoning, and I already put it in there because I figured I was already blending it anyway. Hey Sharon, we are making a baked chicken drumsticks is what the recipe says, but I'm using boneless, skinless thighs. So we have cornmeal and the popcorn seasoning already in. And for those of you that don't have the popcorn seasoning, you can use Hidden Valley Ranch. That would work. Tablespoon and a half cup of cornmeal. It's calling for yellow cornmeal, but we have white because the grits were white. Okay, so in the other dish, we're gonna put a 1/4 cup of milk and 1 egg. The recipe also tells us to bake it in the oven, but I thought it would be fine in the air fryer. I don't want to turn the oven on. It's hot outside. We mowed today, so gosh, super hot. I have to say though, it wasn't as hot as it was last week when we were mowing. All right, so let's get that whisked up. This little whisk. Mess while I'm doing it. This is 1 egg, 1/4 cup of milk. How's everybody's week been? It's nice to not have rain every day. I hope you guys aren't in the 20%. It's been beautiful and sunshine here today. And we actually got to mow some of the places that has been too wet to mow. Okay, and I'm going to give y'all a sneak peek at one of the new products. This was made specifically for the air fryer. It's a drip tray with another tray. So if you're doing something super juicy, like say bacon, the silicone drip mat will catch your drippings. Grabbing my chicken real quick. It's been thawing in the sink. And because these are thighs, you know, they're kind of skinny and lumpy, and I want them to be all the same thickness. So I'm just going to leave them in this gallon Ziploc bag and pound them down. So hopefully they will cook evenly in the air fryer. grabbing a paper towel. Let me set this out of the way so I can kind of pat the chicken dry. I also wanted to show y'all a sweet potato kind of hash, I guess you would call it, that we're going to have as a side. Okay, add the chicken. Let's see. Oh, in our cornmeal mixture, it also says a teaspoon of baking powder. So let me grab that real quick. Not real sure what baking powder does, but we're gonna follow the recipe. We'll switch it up later, right? I've already switched from yellow to white cornmeal, so we'll try to keep the rest the same. Y'all see the jelly in the background? It's something else that I did today. It's Mayhaw jelly this morning. Got a couple of friends that wanted some. And all I had on hand were the smaller bottles, smaller jars, 8-ounce jars. So I did some pints this morning. Just stirring in the baking powder. Okay. This is preheat oven. We don't have to preheat the air fryer. You could if you wanted to, but we're not. We're gonna let salt and pepper our chicken. Next best thing to fried chicken, right? Air fried chicken. It's got to be better for us, right? Salt and pepper. Now, to help your coating stick, you know, to go dry first, in the dry mixture first. I don't think I've ever dredged. Hey, Virginia. It's just white cornmeal. It's actually grits that I put in the blender and ground down to meal because I didn't have any cornmeal on hand. So grits first, cornmeal first, into the egg and milk mixture, and then back into the cornmeal. Anyway, I'm anxious to see what the taste is going to be rather than flour. This will be new for me. It also has ranch seasoning in it, our ranch popcorn seasoning, but you could use Hidden Valley Ranch in the envelope, the dry packet. Quick rinse. Now, I'm just going to lay this whole piece on the air fryer tray. And then get the other one in the cornmeal. Flip. This out of the way. I'm going to put this on the bottom. With that, would give me 3 trays, but I'm just going to use 2 because I don't want to crowd it in there. But depending on what you're putting in there, you could actually do 3 layers with the new tray. I've had a couple of people buy a spare tray. This other piece out. So these are boneless, skinless thighs, Virginia. Recipe calls for drumsticks, but this is what I had on hand. Okay, now if we were doing it in the oven, bake for 15 minutes, flip the chicken and bake for another 15 minutes. So it's gonna be a pretty long bake time. We're gonna try 10 and 10 because the recipe calls for bone-in chicken legs, but since we're doing boneless, skinless thighs, we're gonna go a little bit less time. And of course, we'll check them halfway through. So these are going in. Oh, we need to spritz them. Let me get the spritzer. This is gonna give them that deep fried effect without the deep frying. my spritzer. You guys get another sneak peek. They've redesigned the spritzer. So, it's kind of fancy looking. Pretty cool. Sleek and fancy here. So it has a very clear fill line. It's about halfway full. Well, not quite halfway up the bottle. So I'm using our garlic infused oil. I'm just gonna go halfway up, and then I'm gonna polish it off with olive oil. So I have a mix of olive oil and canola oil, with that being garlic infused. So it's gonna give it a little kick of garlic, which to us, garlic is kind of like onion. I mean, pretty much in anything, we're good. Trip there. And then the nozzle, and you can see that it has a little filter at the bottom. So if you wanted to infuse it with fresh herbs, you could. That filter would keep anything from coming up and messing with the spray mechanism. And then it's just like our old one. You give it pumps to pump the air in. Hey, Jennifer. Oh, I'm feeling the pressure now. I am not Miss Brenda, but gosh, I've learned a lot from her. This one actually is way better than the old one, y'all. So we're just spritzing our chicken, just popping it in the air fryer. Let me pull this bottom tray out. And we're gonna spritz it too. So rather than that deep fried, by spritzing it with the oil, we'll still get that little crisp browning effect. Okay, over to air fry at 400, and we're gonna turn it back to 20 minutes, and then we'll switch the trays halfway through. Now let me clean up this little area here. Now the air circulates all around it, but the top tray is closer to the heating element. So that top tray is going to get done quicker. So if we rotate halfway through, then we can get a better even bake on it. Oh, these went everywhere. Clean my mess real quick and grab another mat. Okay, so I was going to show y'all this other yummy. We love sweet potatoes. We like white potatoes too. So, gosh, years and years ago, a cousin, it's actually my dad's cousin, showed me how to do this. Now it starts with bacon, and I don't have any bacon right now, so I'm just going to use, and a lot of times I do use just olive oil, but you want some kind of fat in the bottom. So think like Southern style hash browns. And I use equal sweet potatoes and white potatoes, the ratio, 1 to 1. Doesn't have to be that way. If you like sweet potatoes better, use more sweet potatoes. Hey, Mary. You were at the lake, girl. You see the jelly for you and your mom? You having a good time? I'm just peeling down. This is that serrated peeler that I was telling y'all that is going to be discontinued, which kind of makes me sad because I use this so much. It just zips through. My friend Michael Reeves likes to say, for those that are paring knife impaired, just zips through, and it cuts little things, fragile like tomatoes. It can peel a tomato just as easily, or a peach just as easily as a potato or an eggplant. Eggplants have always been hard for me, but this makes the job really easy. I tend to take off more of the the veggie than I should. Let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and peel the carrots. We're going to do a couple of carrots as well. Not in with the potatoes. This is going to be another side. We love roasted carrots in the air fryer or in the oven. Like I say, it's just too hot right now to turn the oven off. And this does not heat up the kitchen at all. I was so afraid of it at first, but you know, it's just like anything else. The more you use it, the more comfortable you get with it. One more. Quick. I mentioned Miss Brenda Gant. I posted a couple of her videos in the past. She doesn't even use a paring knife. She uses that really long knife. And she can zip through and peel just about anything. By the time I get my peeler out, she's done peeling. I guess that's years and years of practice. Dump this real quick. Compost today. Okay. Chop the onion first. These are small batches, so when I'm just doing one or two, I don't usually pull out the chopper. And this is just like anything else you'd be cooking. You kind of want the pieces to be about the same. I always make the onion a little bit smaller, although everybody in the house loves onion. If you have those folks in your house that think they don't like onion, I know there's some in every house. Just get the chopper out and pulverize it. Now I always put in, I'm going to go ahead and get my oil heating up. I always put in the sweet potato first because it takes just a little bit longer to cook than the white potato. I'm going to make kind of fat, short french fries, I guess. You could dice them. The object being you want them all about the same size. Sorry, I probably should have had some of this done already. Let me get my pan heating up. I'm using a non-stick, so medium to medium-low heat on your non-stick. You don't want it real hot. Now, I do these in the cast iron skillet quite a bit, and that could go really hot. But the skillet is out at the shop. Dalton's been using it out there. Sweet potatoes are super good for you. Okay. Now a couple of rounds of the olive oil, and you could use bacon grease if you were going to use bacon in it, which is really yummy. Just do maybe 4 or 6 slices of bacon. Take the bacon out and then put your potatoes on top of the bacon grease. I didn't cover the bottom, so probably a tablespoon. And I'm going to put these in and just let these get started. So I put the sweet potatoes on the bottom, then the onions, and now I'm going to cut these potatoes up real quick. We have about 3 minutes on the air fryer, and then we'll switch the trays. I can smell it. You don't realize how handy that nose is until you can't smell anymore. For cornbread, you just use the little square, or do you have the bigger square? That's a whole lot of cornbread. Did you make it from scratch, Virginia? talking about. She has the square, I can't remember if it's a 10-inch or 12-inch skillet that you got, Virginia. But I like to fill that with leftover chili or maybe some chili beans, and then put the cornbread on top, kind of like a Mexican cornbread. That is the skillet that is out at the shop. Real quick. And you'll know when you're cooking, you're going to put whatever is going to take the longest for your supper. That's what you're going to throw on first. The 12-inch. No worry, Jennifer. Grab the door. Okay. Just to stir around. Add these on top. And I'm doing a smaller quantity because it's just Lynn and I. Dawson might come in later, but that was a really hard transition, and I know some of y'all probably know when there's not quite so many kids to feed, it's hard to cook smaller quantities. Salt and pepper. And the key to this too, I can still hear Vondell telling me, do not stir. Do not stir. Because we don't want the potatoes to get mushy. And I'm going to use the smoky applewood. Is delicious in this. And I'm just going to put the lid on, smother it down. So I got it cooking on low. And now back to these carrots. Just a quick wipe. I think on the fatter end, I'm just going to do circles. And this is a pretty fat all the way through. I just have 3 in the fridge, so I thought we'd cook these as well. And I hear my air fryer telling me to switch the trays. So even though the silicone drip mat's going up, I still have the other drip pan on the bottom. Maybe I'll get it out of here without burning myself. So it's okay to bring this one down, and as you can see, as I was saying, see how brown that top one got? Can you see that? So I'm going to put this one down low. Now if you were baking this in the oven, remember it said to flip the chicken halfway through. So this is kind of taking the place of that flipping process. And this one, although you can tell it's getting done around the edges, it's not near as brown as that one on top. So we're going to slide this in to the top rack. You know, I think that's too close. I think I'm going to put it on the middle rack. It'll go over the chicken on the bottom. Yep, perfect. And then it'll take off and go again. Same thing when you're doing any other veggie. You want them to be about the same size so they cook about the same time. Rounds, and these will just get a little bit of butter. I'm just going to steam them in the microwave. Actually, you know, what I can do, I can try. I'm just going to stick them in the microwave. But try that new steamer basket. I think I will. I think I'll do that. Let's take these all the way down. Is making faces behind the camera, guys. One day I'll figure out how to flip it so y'all can see the shenanigans that go on behind the camera. So this is the little steamer basket that we can use in this 12-inch skillet. So we can be steaming the carrots while the potatoes cook. Give them a check. And I'm just going to gently flip these over. They're just starting to brown on the bottom. And we're basically going to cook these until they're fork tender. And this big, nice skillet is really big enough for everything to touch at the same time. I'll bring this closer so y'all can see this. I love the helper handle on that too. You see how it's kind of getting brown? I'll turn this all the way down. Put the carrots on top. And the lid back on. We'll see how that works. Okay, we have about 7 minutes on the chicken. Let me think, what else can we do? Hot water. Well, I did post that all of the electrics are 25% off this month. The air fryer, the blender, or that new grill that we have. Oh, and the quick cooker. We have 4 electric products now, and we're about to have a 5th. I'm excited to share that with y'all, probably next week. So 25% off the electric products. If for some reason, if you're hosting and you want to use that as one of your half price, you can do that. You can get half price off the 25% off, or past hosts will get another 10% off. So everything can stack. These are my cute little bottles, water bottles that I got from Abbey 4. It's Tupperware, so you can refill. Love that. Let's see, what else can I show y'all? Oh, I mentioned last week when I was doing, was it gravy that we were whisking? That sauce. It was pan sauce. And I was telling y'all about this, the spiral, nylon spiral. We were so sad when it went away and I was on my very last one. This is one of the new products. It's silicone covered spiral. It's called a sauce whisk. So isn't that cool? I love it. I love it. So this one is just about worn down. It's because I use it in cast iron too. Nylon, probably not great. I mean, it's heat safe, but the rough surface of the cast iron eventually wears it down, and you can see the spots and that it's beginning to wear. So I have this one. Pretty cool. It feels like, no, there's wire in there. It's just silicone coated wire. I'm sure I will get a lot of use out of that. We are a gravy-eating family. 4 minutes. Let's turn that light on and give it a look. See, I think it's just about done. Let me go ahead and pull it out and let's see what it looks like. Let's put it in one of these, just so we can look. Overcook. Oh, it looks good. How about that? So I'm going to take it off and put it on the plate here. Probably should have spritzed that first so it wouldn't stick, or use the parchment paper. I've got some parchment sheets. Keep meaning to cut down. That wants to stick a lot. Okay. Now let's see. Can you see it? They're pretty. Now let's do the taste test. This is just my spreader I'm using. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Looks done. All the way through. Yum. Cornmeal instead of flour. It's good. It's really good. With that little kick of ranch. It is good. Yep. I probably could have ground it a little bit finer, but I wasn't sure. Now let's check on our potatoes. I'm going to set this off to the side. And the carrots are steaming nicely too, look. It's a beautiful color. Doesn't take long at all. And then I'm just going to give these another flip. And they're just about done. So like I say, you know, you start with what's going to take the longest to cook. And for those of you that are going to try the thighs in the air fryer, it was 20 minutes. 20 minutes seems to be just the right amount of time. Air fry at 400 for 20 minutes. Switch the trays halfway through. And this is done as well. Bring this closer. Potatoes. How yummy is that? I just poured some out on the floor. All right. Once I get it plated up, I'll snap a picture and post it. And I'll be sure and post that recipe as well. And I want you guys to have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see y'all back here Monday. Meal Prep Monday. Hey, Donna. See you later.